Hello, 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 and welcome to Rise with Lisette. Oh, wow, this is a great morning. It's very beautiful here in the Carolinas, and we're going to have a great show today. And hey, how was your weekend? You have a great weekend? Well, I had a wonderful weekend. Went to a little birthday party, but it was great. But I hope you had a great weekend. But we got a great topic here today. And I just want to thank Kiani and all the production staff for all the great work that they do because they do a great job. So hats off to Kiani and staff. I know in the news I heard about Matthew Perry. He's former actor in Friends, the sitcom, and he passed away. And I send my condolences and as well as my prayers to the family. And he had announced in previous times that he suffered with substance abuse. Okay, so we definitely got our prayers going out towards his family today. Our topic today is drug addiction. We're talking about crack, and addiction. So it's going to be interesting today. So all of you out there, if you know somebody that's dealing with drug addiction, I want you to please tell them to tune in today. Whether they know someone or whether they're actually dealing with it themselves, I want you to tell them to tune into the show today because we got some great information for them. And
Lissette,
mhm.
why do you think that drug addiction is?
Well, I tell you what, drug addiction is a horrible thing to go through. It's just really it's terrible, So I want you guys to make sure that you share this with your friends, and also don't forget to chat. Just don't just sit there and listen. I want you to be a part of the conversation today. So make sure that you do some live chatting today.
You
Just hit
there?
that live chat button. All right. What
Uh,
was that, Melvin?
all right, the cutout. I was like, why do you think that drug addiction is such a big thing in Hollywood?
I just believe sometimes you're trying to cope. You're trying to, just be that. You're trying to get that high so you can do what you need to do. And sometimes they feel like they got to do that in order to do what they need to do to get in that groove. And but I don't believe you have to do that.
I'm glad you said that because a lot of people will say, well, that's just the thing, they get money and that's the lifestyle. And I don't think that's it, from somebody who's worked with a
Mhm.
lot of people in the industry. You know, Sometimes you're taking everyday people like me and you, and we become actors or models and we get thrust into that life. And for what it's worth, it can be very stressful. Or when you're someone who has to pretend that you're someone else, you find your coping mechanism. And I think drugs is easily accessible when you have that kind of cachet, recognition, or money, and that makes the vice more easier to get into. That's my personal opinion. Of course, I'm not a doctor or a psychologist. I haven't done any factual studies, but that's my personal opinion on how people in Hollywood are so easily susceptible to becoming addicted to drugs.
And I absolutely agree with you. But there's everyday people go through this. Everyday people. I mean, you can think about someone in your family, maybe someone, a friend, a family member, someone in your community that you drive by every day. Maybe see them as you're driving to work, or someone you maybe see them out there on the streets, and they obviously got some drug issues because of their actions. And it's sad, as a family to go through this, or as a friend with a loved one. You want to reach out to help them. You want to let them know, this is not the way. I mean, it's almost like The Walking Dead. You see them living their life, and their solely just life is just draining out of them. And every time you go to put your hand forth to try to help them, and you think you got them out in the quicksand, lo and behold, here they go. They fall again. And the interesting thing about this is that they end up dragging you with them. If you keep holding on to them, they're going to drag you down with them. And that's why it hurts so bad, because you don't want to go down. You don't want to go down with them. So therefore, it's hurtful. It's a very hurtful situation. You know, I remember, you know, some things in my life that I've gone through, dealing with someone that I love that had a drug addiction problem. And it just, you know, the more I tried to help them, the more I seemed to couldn't help them. And it hurts. It makes you think, well, what did I do? Some people feel like, well, maybe what did I do to aid in this situation? And people are hurting, just like you say, Keone, not just ordinary people, but celebrities. They're hurting silently, and it's a big issue. It's a big issue. Yes. And so,
Hey, Ray.
mhm.
No, keep going, Lisette. I'm talking to Ray. The
Okay.
audience
Is
can't
Ray,
hear me.
is Ray ready to come on yet?
No, no, Lisette, keep going. I'm talking to
Keep
Ray.
going.
Keep going.
Okay.
Keep going.
Well, you know what? I can keep going on this topic all day long, but I
Ray,
want you guys to
move your camera to the left and move it up a little bit. Lisette, ignore us. Keep going. Keep going.
okay. But anyway, so I just remember, when you're trying to help someone, and you're trying to,
Give me one
you
sec.
see them
Uh,
going from a high state, they go lower and lower and lower and lower, and you saying like,
to your right.
oh my God, what can I do to really help them? And it's hard, to watch this. I don't know about any of you
Perfect.
out there.
Now move
If
it up.
y'all know what I'm talking about, please put in the comment sections if you got any questions or comments. I saw one
Move it
comment
up just a
earlier.
little bit, and you'll be perfect.
I saw one comment earlier. I don't know, by Clarence.
There
I
we
don't
go.
know what he said. But I just want you to know today that if you're out there and you're going through like that, this is a very interesting topic, and I know this is something that we need to talk about. Um, but you can't blame it on yourself, for what people choose to go through in their life, but I just want you to know that I want to introduce our guest, Ray Shell, absolutely phenomenal. Let me read his bio, okay? His bio it says Ray Shell has established a significant presence in London, West in theatrical scene since 1978, having taken leading roles in a multitude of acclaimed productions such as Starlight Express, Miss Saigon, and Lion King. Beyond his acting career, Ray has also ventured into directing, producing, and teaching. Ray Shell, originally hailing from Wilson, North Carolina. Oh my God, I must be nervous. USA, is a versatile artist with two children and three grandchildren. His debut novel, Iced, has recently been reissued by CANONGATE Books in the UK and AMISTAD HARPERCOLLINS. Okay, so in other words, Ray is pretty awesome, and really, I met Ray in um, Kinston, North Carolina, when we had a Black Nativity play in Kinston. You remember that, Ray? We had a play with Clay
Yes,
Rain.
I do.
We met, and
Yes.
I also auditioned for his Starboy album, musical Starboy musical album. So it was awesome. I got a chance to be in that. So Ray, you're a pretty awesome man. You hear that? And I'm just
No,
excited today to have you. So how you doing, Ray?
I'm doing fine, Nicholas, but I just got to tell your viewers that Lisette Koenig is one of the most incredible actresses and singers that I've ever worked with. I mean, I've been working with her internationally. When I heard that voice in Wilson, North Carolina, I wasn't surprised because Wilson, America is the land of the voices. Gave us Aretha Franklin and all kinds of amazing singers, and Lisette Koenig is one of them. But I'm fine. I've just been busy uh,
Thank you, Ray.
promoting
So where are you from right now? Where are you at right now?
I'm in London at the moment because I have to do another promotion for Ice later on tonight. But I'm living in Brighton, which is like an hour from London toward the south. It's like going to I'm trying to think what's the equivalent. It's not going as far as Baltimore from New York, but Philadelphia. It's like going to Philadelphia, about an hour away, but going south.
Okay. Well, I just want you to know that I have thoroughly enjoyed your book, Iced. I mean, it's absolutely awesome. I like the take that you the take on it that you went. It's totally awesome, and I want to know. First I want to know before we get into that, how did you get into acting? Because we got some actors and actresses watching the show today. So how did you get into acting?
Well, I always did that. My father was before he became a minister. He was the Sunday school teacher. He was the head of the Sunday school department. And if all you churchgoers, y'all know Christmas and New Year, Christmas, Mother's Day, and Father's Day and Easter, they have these pageants. So my daddy was the one who was he was the one that was supposed to put these pageants together. And since I was his son, I was in them. And he gave me a bit of direction that has like I worked with some of the best directors in the world, people like Trevor Nunn and Nicholas Heitner, these really big time directors. And he gave me this black man, my dad, with a third grade education. He told me, if you believe it, the audience will believe it. And that's where it gave me this love of acting. I went on to Emerson College in Boston. And my classmates was he killed me for forgetting his name. The man that was Jay Leno, who was the Tonight Show host. I went to school
Hmm.
with him. And then I got back to New York and I met Andre the Shield. He's my godfather. And he sort of helped me get into my first off Broadway show. And then I auditioned for Hair, the Donna Summer Sisters, and got into that. And I got into a show called The Me Nobody Knows that Irene Cara was in. So to answer the question, you just got to first believe that you can do it, and then get some schooling if you think you want to get better. But the best thing is if you see an audition for something, just go and audition for it because that's the only way you really know if people like what you do. And if you believe in yourself, just keep going on. That's how I started. I just went to open call auditions and got in. Lord bless me, and I got in.
This is just awesome because I know you also was in the United States versus Billie Holiday with Andrea
Yeah,
Day.
forget about that.
You played the
Yeah,
musician, right? The drummer.
I played Billie Holiday's junkie
Oh,
drummer, and that was an experience. I really enjoyed that. Working with Lee Daniels over the years has been incredible. In fact, I'm still waiting for him to make the movie of Ice. But I've just been blessed to work with those different kinds of people and expand the gift that the Lord has given me and expand it in terms of teaching people as well. The writing came as sort of like an accident. Can I talk about Ice now?
absolutely. Let's do it.
I was on tour with the music evangeloid with Arlene Phillips. She was our choreographer director. And me and my sister, Virginia, we went to our old neighborhood where we grew up in Brooklyn, East Brooklyn. It was the Louis H. Pink house. And there's always somebody in your neighborhood that your mom says, why can't you be like him? This guy was the smartest guy in our little circle. The girls loved him, the guys loved him. He had the best clothes, and he graduated from high school and went to Columbia University at 16. That was a brain box. So when I went back home with my sister and found out that he was still in the projects, I was really surprised because I thought he would be in Washington D.C. working with Clinton, part of Clinton's cabinet.
Hmm.
And I went there to see him, and it was evident from the soon as he opened the door that something was not right. And I found out by talking with him that he had turned into a crack addict. He didn't tell me this, but everything suggested it. He wouldn't admit to that it was him that he was talking about. But I would ask him things like, "Well, what happened to your furniture?" Because I walked into his house and there's nothing, no furniture there, just the pictures, dark spaces on the wall and on the floor were where the pictures and the furniture were. And he said they took them. And I said, they who? He said, I never see who they are. I only see what they've done. And then I tried to lighten. I said, you ain't talking about ghosts? He said, yes, ghost people. So the language from the book came from that conversation. And when I left there, I felt like somebody had died. And I had to find out for myself what had happened to my friend, this my mentor, and went to a bookshop in Ohio, and there was nothing there about addicts. There was lots of stuff about the dealers and the sociological problems that crack epidemic or drug addictions that had brought up, but nothing about the addicts from their point of view. So I started talking to them. I interviewed addicts. We were in a different city with that show every week, so I was interviewing addicts all over the country. and a backstory came up, and I used that backstory, to create the novel. There's nothing in the novel. There's only two items in the novel that's true. The ending, which I won't tell you. I read that in the newspaper here in London, and I asked one of the addicts why didn't they get some help, and they told me a story about their drug therapist who fell in love with them and abused them with crap. So I mean, like everything else is fiction.
This is really interesting because, like you said, you were saying how that we always take the perspective. It says, why do well, we got a question here. Why do people use drug? Why? Why do people use drugs? This is from someone, one of the audience.
Well,
Why
like
do people use drugs?
should I jump in there on that?
Yeah, I'm gonna ask you. They're asking you, why do you think people use drugs?
So people use drugs for a whole lot of reasons, a whole lot of different reasons. I mean, like it could be basically starting from recreational. When you're young, you move away from home, you're in school or in a different city, and people around you are doing it, and you just want to find out what the situation is. Or people get hooked on drugs because they've had some horrific kind of accident, like Prince and Michael Jackson, and they use the drugs to numb the pain, and then through that they become addicted. Or if something horrible or terrible has happened to them in their life and they're just trying to escape, and the drug puts the distance between what they're trying to get away from and their everyday life. So there's a lot of different reasons why. Um,
Yeah.
Sometimes people get disappointed in their lives, and they don't think that their lives are worth living, and they escape through a haze of drugs.
This is very interesting. I have definitely ran across some people that have used drugs to escape. It's like they
Yeah,
they don't want to be here, so they
no,
zoom out. They use that as a way to zoom out. I think it's so very interesting about your book is that because you take the perspective of the drug addict.
yeah,
Most of the time we hear about families, what they go through and how it's very hard on them. But to actually take the perspective of the drug addict, it blew my mind. It's an awesome book, and there was something in your book where he says like, he began to talk about himself, Cornelius, and how he was saying, well, I'm not here, you know, I love doing this. It's like a girlfriend to me.
yeah.
This is my girlfriend. Elaborate on
But
that.
yeah, well, the thing about it is the drugs, especially crack, takes the place of the things that you love, your family, your job, your marriage. The book, for those who, because we don't have a copy of the book. Wait a minute, I have a copy of the British book. You don't have a copy of the
I have
American
a
book.
copy, but it's supposed to be coming in a few minutes. But keep this.
Well,
I have a
if you,
copy.
well,
It's supposed to be coming
well,
soon.
it takes the place of all those things that you love, because the drugs, the whole point of the drugs, and especially nowadays, people get involved, the dealers get involved with addicts because they teach them in money, the money thing. When I was coming up and going to school, people just wanted you to have a good time. They just wanted you to open your mind and enjoy yourself. Now it's much more insidious than that. It's about money. And if a dealer can hook you and know that you're a regular client, then he fulfilled his purpose of just pimping you for money. So I mean, the drug itself, I've never tried it. My children did not send me to America to become a crack addict. But what I've actually understood from talking to all these different Cornelius is that it just takes over your mind. And when something takes over your mind, they have the engine of your body, it has the engine of your subconscious, and that engine is not for good. It's for solely for actually keeping you away from the reality that you should be thinking about, the reality that you should be living. I'm just gonna walk over here and get a copy of it.
Sure.
Now, this is the UK. This is the UK version.
Hmm.
The USA version is the same thing, but you can get this copy. You can get this version on Amazon.com or Amazon.co.uk. But the American version is a lovely, lovely cover, and it looks like Basquiat, the artist Basquiat, who was a hip hop artist. friend of Andy Warhol. It looks like he might have designed it.
I mean, it's just, I couldn't put it down. I mean, when I was reading, I could not put it down. It just touched my heart. I began to cry, um, because if you ever gone through dealing with someone that's an addict, you know, you can definitely can relate. Whether it's a friend, a family member, or someone, at work, when you can just see them just totally just go from something to nothing. And it's like the more you
Well,
try to help them, they just,
yeah,
they just, I also like what really got me in the book is when you said, when the, when Cornelius said how that he knew that he was taking her time and her energy, his sister. He knew that
yeah,
by her
yeah,
coming to try to help him, because when you love someone, you know they're not about paying their bills. They don't want to do that. So you try to go and make sure their bills get paid, try to make sure they get fed, take them food because they don't care about food. They don't care about
yeah,
none of that. They want to get high. And you try to manage all the things that they're supposed to be managing their own life, but yet you're trying to do it for them to keep them afloat. And as much effort that you go through to make sure that they keep living and that they don't go down no further than what they are. What just psyched me out in your book when you said the addict knew it. They knew that and
yeah.
didn't care. Didn't
No,
care to stop it. That's what hurt. And
yeah.
it's like the tears began to flow because they knew that. And still they was willing for you to go down with them in order to keep on doing what they're doing. It just hurt. It did.
No, I mean, I was sort of concerned about you reading it because it's a wow, it's a horrifying journey. But I could not understand why this mentor of mine, who I thought was smarter than me, I couldn't understand how this person had allowed this to happen to them. And so I had to find out. But I was nervous about letting you read it, Miss Lisette, because you know me, and I the things in the book are not the kind of things that I involve myself in. But as a writer, I had to know about it, and as a writer, I had to actually create a situation that my audiences, my readers, could actually understand and believe. I mean, I think I did maybe too good a job. My when my German publisher said, "You can tell us it's you, isn't it? Really, it's really you." But no, it's not. As an actor, we've actually had to create backstories for the productions that we've done, the plays that we've played. So all ICE really is a backstory of a character called Cornelius, what happened to him, and his life basically. And I had to create it and write it as as realistically as possible.
And you did an excellent job doing it. But it's the way that you did it. You did it in a very poetic way. The way you worded your words is just excellent. I mean, it's awesome. But I would like to, if we can, Keone, can we show the movie, um,
You
uh,
can't say it's a movie; it's just a promo video. Because if Lee
promo video?
Daniels
I mean,
finds out,
the
if
promo
Lee
video.
Daniels
I was
finds out that I
muted.
did a movie, he's gonna sue
I
me.
was muted. I was like, "You mean the promo video? Because we're not about to show a movie."
No, we're not going to show a movie. The promo video.
No, Ray, you've never met me, but I give Lisette the hardest of times because it brings me such joy to give her such a hard time.
Okay,
He do a good
All right,
job
we're
of
gonna.
yes, he is.
All right, let's get into the clip. Here we go.
I just wanna suck. I just wanna suck. I wanna suck. Stoner, 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 stone. I wanna suck. Stoner, 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 stone. And dream. explain later. I am dedicated solely to the whiteness, the goodness. Pipe brings me. I am dedicated solely to the whiteness, goodness. Pipe brings me. Symbols are easy.
We're on in
They
three,
tell quick.
2, 1.
I just
You know what? I see what you were saying, Ray, when you said what your wife said to you. Because if you're just listening to the audio and you're not watching the video, then I would say yes. But if you're watching the video and you hear the audio, I I guess different people can interpret what you're trying to do. So I'm gonna say what through my interpretation. It sounds sensual with "I want to suck," but I'm seeing him with the crack pipe, and it goes back to what Lisette was saying is the drug takes over every aspect of your life. Why would you need to eat? Why would you need to have intimacy? You can do that all with the crack pipe,
Yeah,
and
and
so
they,
that's how
yeah,
I saw that.
and you're absolutely right. I mean, that's what I was told. That's what people told me that it replaced every aspect of their sort of physical relationship and mental relationship and emotional relationship. It conquered all of that. It busted through all of that and took over. And it wasn't until some people could not stop. It wasn't until they were actually locked up in a rehabilitation situation or jail, which forced them to come off it before they could actually, be free.
And it's amazing because I know also in your book you said how he said Cornelius said he had to actually write down, which is the drug
Yeah,
addict. He had to write down um, stuff to so he can remember,
remember it.
because it
Yeah,
takes their memory away. It just
yeah,
blew me away because I've never heard the perspective of the drug addict. I've never did drugs. I don't know what they go through. I only know what they put their friends and family and loved ones through. It's pretty hell. So to see what they're going through, just- it just totally blew me away. It's awesome. It's everybody should really read this book.
well,
It's amazing. you know
but we're trying to get it on a curriculum. So I kind of think that what I'd like to happen this time around with the book is that university students, people that have actually left home for the first time and find themselves in a new place with new people, with these people have new ways of living that they may not be familiar with. There's certain things you don't need to get involved with. You really, really don't need to get involved with. And a lot of that happens when we leave home, we go to these colleges, you know. And I kind of think that I should be part of the curriculum so that people know, no, I need to stay away from this.
I agree.
Well, another thing that you just brought up when you said people going away from home and experiencing something different. And then especially when you have people from like small towns that doesn't have a lot of exposure to things. I grew up in Miami, so I was exposed to a lot of things. But even being someone that moved from Miami to Texas, it's still a whole different experience. And one of the things,
Yeah,
we can't blame everything on parenting, but one thing that does help with parenting is when your child brings up a topic to you, don't fly off the rails and be like, you're too young to discuss that. I always tell parents, if they brought it up, it's time to discuss it.
Exactly.
yeah,
That's the perfect time to discuss it instead of going, you're too young to talk about that. That means they're already thinking about it. So if you don't discuss it with them, their inquisitive mind is going to find someone who will discuss it with them. And that could be
definitely.
the wrong person.
Wow, that's so true. Is there any
It is.
comments in the comment section? It says a lot of us, by Clarence Cornegay, says a lot of us have family members or friends on crack. One of the smartest people that I knew got hooked on crack. It's sad. It is sad.
And
And
you got
I
to,
mean, it's almost like it's always the intelligent ones, the smart ones. That's I want. It's almost like it's crack. It's got a mind of its own. I want you. I want
and we
you.
don't want to just say crack because now it's so many other things
Opiate. Yeah,
there. Like crack was a giant. I'm not saying it doesn't exist anymore. Giant epidemic, 80s, 90s. But I know more people dealing with meth now than I know
Mhm.
crack. Not to make it like meth is sexier, it's still just as terrible. So there's a
Mhm.
lot of things that, but going back to what Ray said, getting something like what he said to educate people will educate you on the other things as well, just by
Mhm.
circumstance.
Mhm.
I mean, addiction is addiction. Well, you could be addicted to your phone. You could be addicted to sex. You could be addicted to church. You could
That's true.
addiction is addiction.
Yeah.
And I kind of think that anything that takes over your life, anything that you have to have in your life, that you don't actually need, and but you can't deal without it in terms of what am I trying to say? In terms of you got to
Mhm.
have it. That's addiction. That is
Yeah.
addiction. That's an addiction.
And it's interesting because you said church. Because notice he said church, not God. So yes, you can be addicted to church. You really,
Yeah,
really can.
but
So
you need to be addicted to God. But I mean,
for sure,
you know,
you
some,
know,
some
it's.
people some people just go to church. You know,
I
Well,
agree.
if I go there 6 days a week and I don't do all the other stuff, that'll help me out, right?
that's true.
Woo! This. It's amazing. It almost makes you wonder how how do where in the world can help come from? I know it comes from above, and I know there's spiritual help, and I know there's actual physical help out here with the doctors and stuff can help people. So
Well,
it's just it's hurtful.
can
There's a
I?
lot of families going through this.
Yeah,
Well, I'll tell you this, and Ray can tell me, he could say if I'm off or not. Through my experience, within support systems are great, praying is great, everything's great. But here's the thing: with someone who's addicted to anything, until they want to change, it ain't gonna happen.
yeah,
I know.
exactly.
You can fight tooth and nail, do everything you want, put them in as many rehab centers, give them as many Bibles as you want, give them as many TVs to steal as you can. But they are not going to change until they want to change. But sadly, some people have to get to rock, rock, rock bottom
Yeah,
before that
yeah,
happens. Because when you're addicted to something, you believe you're under control. What do you always hear? The cliches: I can quit whenever I want,
yeah,
you know, while they actively have it in their hand waiting to do it, you know. And so until that person
Mm.
wants to change, it ain't going to happen. That's just my opinion. Doesn't mean that's fact.
no, that's true. I mean that is true. That's one that that's one of the reasons why I say that until they get either locked up in jail and they can't get to it, or locked in a
Mhm.
hospital and they can't get to it. Um, it there's it would be hard to tear it away. I heard one story I put in the book because it was just so incredible that this man was out in his backyard and there hit a swimming pool in his backyard, and when his youngest son jumped in the pool and got into trouble, called his father. His father was busy smoking a pipe and didn't go to him. So his oldest son jumped in, tried to help his brother. The two of them got into trouble, and the father still would not put the pipe down, and the two of his sons drowned. So I
My
mean, like
God.
I, you know, and the thing is, it's like friends of mine who I thought were smarter than me and who had gotten hooked up. I said, well, wow, their intelligence didn't save them. What makes me think that my intelligence did, which is one of the reasons why I never picked it up and never tried it, because I have too much to live for and have too much to do. And how can I put it? It wasn't something that I wanted to involve myself in to have to get myself out of. I don't have
This is really interesting, because there's someone says Gail Dove says they gotta want to, and that is so true. Absolutely. They gotta want to. They absolutely gotta
yeah,
want to. Just like Keone said, you can do all you can, and it hurts because it's just like, you know, out, can we are we able to see the movie now, you think? Keone?
What movie? What are you talking about?
Not the movie, the Primo.
We already showed it.
Oh, we did?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
but
Oh wow.
you
Where,
see why I give her a hard time, Ray? No.
well, where was I at? What planet was I
Hey,
on? You know
but
what
you know what? Um,
I'm saying?
and you know what's sad? Sometimes the best thing, and this sounds so backwards, because again, I've dealt with family members, drug addicts. You know,
Mhm.
the best thing you can do sometimes is to cut them off.
That's hard.
Because, like I said, some of them don't change till they lose everything. The best thing you can do sometimes is cut them off. Because
You
once
know
they've
what?
lost, and that's not something that's ideal for me, because support is great, but I've seen a lot of drug addicts that once all the family is gone, all the friends are gone, and they're sitting lonely, and down at the end they're like, the light bulb goes off. I don't want it to get that to that point, but sometimes that happens too.
And what you're right, and what's so sad, Keon, is that some of them they never, they never get there. That's
Yeah,
what's so hurtful. They
yeah.
don't ever make it. You know, and just think what it's almost like, to me, it's almost like, preparing for a child, and all of a sudden you miscarriage. You miscarry the
Mm.
child. It's like all that work that you put in trying to help them, the money, the time, the energy that you put into trying to help them, trying to bring them up, running when they call, and then it's just like it can really be just traumatic on someone.
I'm gonna tell you, Ray, if you don't mind me sharing a quick story with you. I had two back-to-back experiences with a crackhead within 2 week period, and they were so different. So my dad, I talked to him a month ago. I'm 45 now, and he said I was asking him a question about when we moved from our two-bedroom duplex to an actual house. And he's like, "Yeah, we moved there because it was a better opportunity." I said, "No, Dad. We moved there because when I was 5 years old, a crackhead got shot on the porch in front of me." He goes, "You remember that?" I said, "Yes, I
Wow.
remember that."
Wow.
And like 2 weeks later, I was 6 years old. 2 weeks later, I was at church, in the days where I used to go. I was at church, and a crackhead was trying to come into church. She was crying and everything, and the deacon told her she had to go. "You're a drug addict. This is no place for you." And the pastor was walking by, and he stopped him and he said, "If she can't come in here, then who can?"
There you go.
He said, "What's wrong with y'all? This is exactly why the church is here. It's not just for people who come in on Sunday and can put money in the collection plate. So don't turn away homeless people and drug addicts when they come here." And I saw that as a kid, that interaction, you
And
know.
and that's what I was going to add to what you said, Keone. Sometimes the church is a hospital to people. That's why, really, why they go there a lot, and a lot, right? Even though it can be addictive, but sometimes that's their way out.
Yeah.
It's just pitiful. It's pitiful. I don't even know how to express it. To any of you out there that has ever gone through dealing with someone that is an addict, it's not easy, and it's very traumatic to the family. But in the book, I just got to go back to the book. In the book, it explains their side of it, what they go through, how they feel like it's their friend, how it's their lover, it's their family member, it's everything. And at in the space of them going through it, they don't care. And they don't how slowly they're losing their mind, they're losing it, and yet they still want more. It's touching. It's very hurtful. The book is amazing to me, absolutely amazing. And I have a copy on the way through Amazon. It's supposed to be here by 10. It never did get here, but it touched
Ray,
my heart. This book changed my life,
Ray,
because it helped me understand some things.
Ray.
Yeah.
How important is it for people to understand what the addict is going through instead of just going, "Ah, they're a crackhead"? Blah, 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 blah. How is it?
Well,
How important is that?
it's very important because what like I said before, unless we have some sort of a sympathy or empathy with the person going through it, then we understand ourselves less because we may not be, like I said, we may not be addicted to crack, but you could be addicted to Netflix or addicted to I don't know, golf or something. It's a situation whereby by understanding other people, then you can understand, you can fully understand yourself. You understand why they do it. You can understand why you've done something. I think with the state of the world being the way it is now, and this might get me into some trouble for saying it, we have no sympathy or empathy at all as a country. I mean, I know that everything that's happening in the Gaza district in Palestine and Israel, one wrong, two wrongs don't make a right. But at the end of the day, if you really love and you claim that you love, you don't want to see anybody hurt. You don't want to see anybody
Exactly.
messed up. And I tend to think that there's a lot of Israelis who don't like exactly what their own government is doing to Palestinians.
This is really amazing. It's really amazing. Is there any questions out there?
Hold on one second.
Hmm.
Hold on one second.
Okay. Mm, 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 mm.
All right, he had some
Oof.
technical, and he'll be back. But what he was saying, oh, there he goes. He's back. Hold on. Yep, you're back. Let me get you back. Let me get you back up here.
Just letting you
Um,
there.
yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear us? Uh oh, am I? He gone
It's
again.
just.
All right. So I wanted to say this, but I wanted him to be on.
Is there any questions?
No, there's no questions.
No questions. Okay.
So uh,
Oof.
there
Mm.
we go. I think we have him back on. Yes, you're back on. Let's see. Will you stick? Hold on. And there you go. Can you hear?
It's just that the reception here, the
No, no,
reception
that's
here
fine.
sometimes cannot be exactly.
We got you.
But
What
what
I
I
was
was saying
gonna
is that
say. Oh no, no, you're fine. What I was gonna say, because we talked about this on our political show last week, and Harold brought up a good thing. He's like, people have to understand there's a difference between Jewish people, Jewish faith, and Israel, the government, and that's why what you just brought up, that a
yeah,
lot of people are not happy with what the government did, and people have to understand these are two governments reacting, and not the actual people that they
yeah,
represent. So we got to think about that.
yeah.
Mm.
But it's the people that, in both cases, Israelis and the Palestinians, who are suffering because of their government. They're the ones that dying. The old heads who are perpetuating this stuff. It's like the United States in Vietnam, or the United States in, they send all these young people to die for war that they created themselves. And right now we have the actual Israelis and the actual Palestinians, both the people themselves. They're suffering for the politics of their country.
Hmm. And it's just like, when you said they're suffering, for them, for the country, it kind of reminds me of a family that has a drug addict. They're suffering on behalf of them, and it's it's
Yeah.
it's it's hurtful. So, Ray, what do you foresee in the future upcoming for your book? What's the next?
Well, it's early days for this edition. Both editions, the UK version and the United States version, has been out for less than a month. I had a really, really amazing review from the Chicago Book Review the other night, which was incredible, and written by a white middle class lady who actually admitted that she didn't fully understand it, but she could not. She definitely reacted to the horror that the book gave. There's a film version that Lee Daniels is going to make one of these days, and there's an audible version. And right now we're raising money for a stage version. Like I was talking with the producer this morning. So I will probably be back in the States. I'm looking to be back in the States probably in March to do some promotion in New York. And being in New York, I'm going to come to North Carolina. I got to come to my hometown.
All
And
right.
I'm going to work with the publisher, Miss Abby West, about a few cities in the states that I can go and actually do some promotion. But until then, if you just let people know that the book is out there, and they should read it, and email me and stay in touch, I'm available. I've got to leave though in the next few minutes. I've got to go and do another promotion out in London.
Okay. Well, I really just really appreciate you coming, because your book is quite awesome. It's called Iced. If you would like to go and read his book, it's quite amazing. Quite amazing. I suppose I have my copy holding up. You let me down, Amazon. Let me down. But whatever, you know.
Awesome.
But it's ice, and it's a different cover, but it has ice up there, and it has my name on it, so you'll know it's not me. And like I said, it looks like a Basquiat. If you know who Basquiat is, he's a great hip hop artist, and it looks like a cover that he might have designed. That's why he really designed it. But I thank you
Hold on,
so
one
much
second.
for having me. Uh, and anytime you want to talk about anything else, let me know, and I'm there. Keone, I'm really really glad to meet you, and hopefully we'll speak again.
No problem. Thank you, and thank you everybody for joining us today. And our wonderful guest, Rachel. Please pick up his book, Ice, that talks about drug addiction. It's so awesome. And we will see you on the next Rise with Lisette. Everybody, have a great, enjoy the rest of your week.
Fine.
Thank you.
Thank you.